All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. The New York Pro is now over. Hopefully you guys caught one of my 2 review videos yesterday. Nick Walker is your 2021 New York Pro champion. The beef between Blessing and Nick is now apparently squashed. A rivalry which got really heated and kind of personal during the course of the New York Pro buildup. Blessing left this comment on a post on the Buys and Tries Instagram in reference to his plan was originally going to be to compete in the California Pro in 2 weeks. Which, by the way, you didn't see this last night because Blessing wasn't in the top 5, but Blessing did wind up taking 6th place. We do have the scorecards, and we're going to review those in this video. But Blessing left this comment on the Buys and Tries post. He says, "I was going to, but at this stage I already know what I got to do, so there's no point in putting my body through all that again. So I'm going to take a little break and go back to school. I got work to do." So no, Blessing will not be competing in the California Pro in 2 weeks, and I would assume that means he's probably not going to try to qualify for the Olympia. I'm assuming he knows he's got work to do on his physique, and that work is probably going to take longer time than between now and October. I would expect to see Blessing take the rest of the year off and focus on making improvements before he tries to do another show again. He took 3rd at the Indy Pro, which was not bad. That was actually a pretty good placing for a pro debut. But then he dropped down to 6th in New York, and I think definitively ended that rivalry with Nick in a very dramatic way because they weren't even in the same call-out together. Like I said, Nick Walker was kind of in another league and really proved that. Now, the thing I was wondering about is whether or not Blessing and Nick would publicly squash the beef that they had because it was so personal, it was so public, and it was so dramatic. Blessing put out this post about the New York Pro results. He thanks Steve Weinberger for an amazing show. He talks about his appearance there and how he did. He apologizes for letting the fans down. And he says he's super disappointed in the way he turned up in New York. He says he was too flat at the Indy Pro show, so he tried to push the fullness for New York, but he ended up spilling so bad. I lost my condition and ended up with a guest posing shape. LOL, I was totally off. So that's kind of what I said in my wrap-up, that his conditioning looked significantly worse than it looked at the Indy Pro. He did look a lot tighter in Indy and a lot better at Indy. He was flat, but his conditioning was miles ahead in Indy than it was this week. So there was that. So he doesn't make any excuses. He takes accountability there. He says, "Thanks to everybody rooting me on and supporting my journey." And then at the end of that post, he does go on to congratulate Nick Walker. He says, "Lastly, huge congratulations to Nick Walker. He brought it and he cleaned up. Respect. But it's not over. My story continues. Stay tuned because y'all are in for one hell of a ride." And then Nick Walker went and commented on that post by Blessing, and he says, "Time to work." So I talked to Nick Walker privately after the New York Pro, congratulating him and all that good stuff. And he told me that the beef between him and Blessing is squashed. He says they're cool. He says they talked. He said it's all good. And of course, if you're Nick Walker, it's all good because he just absolutely dominated this competition. So Nick has nothing to be upset about. But it looks like that beef is officially squashed. And I also got confirmation from Nick when talking to him that his intention is to compete at the Olympia. So he will not skip the first Olympia that he's doing. He will compete in the 2021 Olympia now that he's qualified. And now he is he's full gear ahead towards that show, and that's all he's focused on right now. So you will get to see Nick on that Olympia stage in 2021. And that brings me to this post that a lot of people have been sending me. There was an interesting comparison that popped up after the New York Pro. Very flattering comparison for Nick, a guy that just competed in his 2nd pro show ever. A lot of people comparing Nick to Big Ramy here. Big Ramy's appearance from the 2020 Olympia hitting a front double bicep compared to Nick Walker hitting a front double bicep at the New York Pro. I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on this in the comment section down below because I even said in my last video that I think if Nick looked like he looked at prejudging in New York at the 2020 Mr. Olympia, I think Nick would have placed top 4 at the Olympia in 2020. But people are making this comparison to Big Ramy, implying that Nick looks better than Big Ramy, which I think you could make that argument, but you should also take note of the lighting in New York was a lot better than the lighting in this photo from the Olympia. And lighting does go a long way, but with the lighting, I do think Nick has a little bit of an edge over Ramy in terms of detail to his physique, and they're both pretty big dudes. They're both kind of mass monsters. But let me know your guys' thoughts on this comparison in the comment section below. Is it too soon? Or does he look comparable or better than Big Ramy in this picture? Or is it a stretch? And now a word from our new sponsors in today's video. A company I love called Cannadips. Alright guys, I'm proud to announce that today's video is sponsored by a company called Cannadips. And guys, I gotta tell you, this is one I'm actually really excited about because this is a product I've been using for a few years now. Cannadips is a CBD pouch with 10 milligrams of CBD per pouch. No tobacco, no nicotine. And it comes in 5 core flavors: wintergreen, mint, citrus, mango, and American spice. Personally, I've been using this for years because I was trying to quit actual tobacco dip, and this was a really good substitute for me. And I also like the benefits of CBD for me. It's really something that I like to do before bed, and it kind of helps wind me down, decrease my anxiety a little bit, and that's what I was using this product for. There's no THC in this, just CBD. You won't fail a drug test. You don't need to spit. And CBD is becoming a really prominent supplement in the bodybuilding and fitness scene, so that's why I think it makes a good fit for my channel right now. The product is great for after a lift. It has little to no sugar in it, so it's good for a keto diet. All natural, coconut fiber base, and natural flavorings. If you guys want to try Cannadips, you can get 20% off with my code NICK20. You can go to cannadipscbd.com/discount/NICK20 to try this product for 20% off. You can also go to cannadipscbd.com/Croptober to enter their giveaway for an all-paid trip to Humboldt, California in mid-October to tour the fields, redwoods, and beaches and party. Both links will be in the description box below, so I hope you guys check it out. Thank you to Cannadips for sponsoring today's video. All right, guys, now next up in the news, I promised you guys we would go over these scorecards from the New York Pro. Everybody was excited to see them. So we'll go through the full placing, since at the finals you only got to see the top 5. So obviously Nick Walker took first, Justin Rodriguez took second, Hassan Mustafa took third, Dorian Haywood wound up in 4th. In 5th place, you had Muhammad El Aman. Blessing Awodibu did wind up in 6th place, so he was top 6 here. But it should be noted, there were only 11 competitors at this New York Pro, which is a very small New York Pro. This is a show where in the past, the New York Pro has had like 30 competitors, so 11 is really small for New York. So Blessing in 6th. In 7th place, you had An Nguyen. In 8th place, you had Morgan Asti. I was kind of surprised by that. In 9th place, you had Roy Evans. In 10th place, you had Camilo Diaz. Correction there. There was only 10 competitors here. So I think they had Sean Smith as number 10, but he withdrew at the last minute. So they still have it listed as Nick Walker number 11, but I think they took Sean's number. So there's 10 competitors now that Sean Smith was dropped out. So let's look at the scorecards, because this is what I was saying after prejudging. I thought that Nick had to be in a definitive unanimous lead, and it looks like he was. So like I've said before, I've tried to explain, bodybuilding is a lot like golf. So the lower your score in bodybuilding, the better, because essentially your score is what a judge votes you to place. So if you got 3 judges and they all vote you 1, they're all voting for first place for you. So Nick Walker had the lowest score of 3, which is unanimous votes for first place at prejudging. Unanimous votes for first place at the night show as well. So in other words, Nick Walker basically walked away with this victory. And if you look at Justin's score, 6 and 6, so he was unanimously voted second at both the prejudging and the night show. Now, depending on the number of judges, sometimes they throw away a score, the high or the low or however it works. But in this case, you can see it's clearly a multiple of 3 is how they're determining these. And the multiple of 3 for Nick was 3 times 1. So unanimous votes for first place. So in other words, it wasn't really close, which I think is the sentiment that a lot of people felt after watching the prejudging, including myself. I had Nick Walker winning the second he stepped out on stage because I thought he looked that far ahead of everybody else. I thought, man, there's no question this guy just came in and won the show. So, again, congrats to Nick Walker. The guy looked fantastic. And, man, I'm so excited to see how he looks at the 2021 Mr. Olympia. I think it's going to be a great show, and I'm ready to start hyping that up already. So, the final story that I wanted to talk about today, Antoine Vaillant. Looks like the guy can't catch a break, having some extremely bad luck. Antoine actually just tore his other bicep, this time the left bicep. He posted a caption on Instagram with pictures of the bicep tear. He says, "So this happened again. At least this time it's the left, meaning I still have my good hand to wipe my ass. Full clean cut tear, even better than last time. My bicep is literally hanging from the top like a Christmas ornament." More details on what's going on the next Pure Muscle Radio podcast. So, tough break for Antoine. It looks like he's going to be recovering from that for a while. Who knows when that's going to mean the next time. When are we going to see him on stage again? How long is the recovery for this going to take? He was really getting a lot of momentum in his career. I really want to see him step on stage again sometime soon, but who knows how far this injury is going to set him back. So that's going to wrap it up for the video today, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy it. Please give it a big thumbs up if you did, in fact, enjoy it. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed yet already. As always, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power, signing out.